So the green flag waves. So let's talk you through the grid once again, as we see Dave Ritson's favourite tractor in shot there. Mieshuben starts from pole position. Matej Radenkovic starts on the front row. Dave Stevens in the 182 starts on the inside of row number 2, and we'll have Mats van Rooyen alongside on row 2. Lars Lambers and Laurens Herbos, the 122 and the 198. That is row number 3. Ahead of the 110 of Switzerland's Tino Sidler, and the 129 of the Netherlands, Mick Vandenberg. His chances of an international trophy ticket, courtesy of the BNL karting series, have fallen by the wayside. He starts 9th. Alongside him will be the Belgian, 180 of Thomas Verheyen, Jake Minton, Kans Tobben in the 131 and the 134 respectively. Round out the top 12. Ahead of Ruben Verheyen, who, in the words of my good friend Henry Baudet, might need to do a top gear from the rear from 13th position in the 188. So 13 minutes plus an additional lap. And you can see that the track is a lot drier here in Mariembourg. But obviously, wetsuit's still on. There are still some standing water puddles. There will be those that will play safe, and I did mention about the good old Jensen-Button equation a bit earlier on in the broadcast. Basically, if you know that you can run with slicks and you've got the experience to do so, then sometimes risk equals reward. But looks like there's still a bit of moisture on the track, quite significantly there, because two drivers had a bit of a drama going through turn 2 just then. One span around nearly 180 degrees the wrong way and was pointing the other way up the circuit. So now, Huben and Radenkovic starting to bring them into some semblance of order. There's Stevens and Van Rooyen, followed by Lambers and Herbos. They're all starting to get into formation now because they want to make sure that the start is absolutely spot on and good to go. So very shortly, things will be getting underway. However, there they are. All 13 of them now in formation, ready to go racing. We are just literally a few seconds away from getting things going for the third of 5 finals here this afternoon. We're nearly at the business end of the second round of the championship, and then we'll head on to round 3 in the second weekend of October, and that will be the 9th to the 10th. So it is Huben and Radenkovic controlling proceedings on the front row as we are about to get going once again here at this 1,388 metre circuit here at Mariembourg. So let's see. They split. They now head into the tram lines. Up the rev range we go. The lights are about to go out and we are racing. And it's a good start again from Radenkovic, but look at the pace. Oh my goodness me, Van Rooyen already trying to go up the inside of Radenkovic going into turn 2. He literally split the pair of Radenkovic. Give a bit of a bump off of the curbs that pitches him sideways, and here comes Laurens Herbos. It's too wide, a little bit further back just behind. And Radenkovic has lost out of the lead. Radenkovic now finds himself back in second position, but this time it's not behind Mieshuben. This time it is behind Mats van Rooyen. And now Radenkovic has got the lead back. Huben back up into second place. And there's more moves on here than on a dance floor at the moment in a nightclub under the current pandemic situation, I'm afraid. So Radenkovic starting to streak away into the distance. Now, the times will be very reflective of how hard the drivers are pushing, but also what they've decided to opt for. Some will have gone for the safer option. Radenkovic puts in a 1:09. Already that says to me, it sounds like the field is on wet weather tyres. Sometimes you do have to go safe. Sometimes you do have to go brazen and bold, but with the amount of moisture being swept away to both sides of the circuit, there is a dry line forming. So some of the drivers might have decided, you know what, I might chance it and go for slicks, but that would be a very inspired and very, very brazen choice. at this particular juncture, because going through into turn 4, there is a puddle and a half and then some of standing water. You can just see that some drivers, again, going on those different racing lines, and one of which is the driver in 4th position, which looks to be more than likely either one or two people, Laurens Herboz or Mats van Rooyen. We're going to see very shortly who that is as they come through the final double right-handers. So Huben, and that looks to be, I think I did clap eyes, that might have been Mats van Rooyen, but I'm going to wait until they come across the stripe to just confirm that. And it was Herboz. I thought it might have been. I wasn't too sure. The 103 and the 198 numbers look very similar when they're at exactly the same distance on a circuit. And it looks like the two at the front have gone on slicks. Radenkovic and Huben, I think, might have gone on slicks. Big thanks to Kernstadt, Carol's dad. So that's why they're starting to pull away. The gap already between Radenkovic and Huben is now 2.5 seconds, but look at the gap behind. Van Rooyen, 2.4 seconds down off of Huben. So the way things are going, those wet weather tyres could start slightly incinerating themselves in terms of degradation. The minute you put a wet weather tyre on dry, as Swiderski has been on a real binge of speed, and now he's made his way past Taze Stevens, and Swiderski running in the 110s. Well, Swiderski now runs in the 109s. Radenkovic is in the 107s. The times are rapidly dropping. The track is coming into the favour of dry weather tyres. Even with the temperatures being around about 19, 20 degrees Celsius, okay, there's not a real... now that's Swiderski off. Swiderski's off the track. Now, he was pushing like crazy, and he's just caught himself out there, I believe, coming through in towards turn number 3. So Swiderski's race weekend has been dealt another difficult blow right there and then, courtesy of that off-track excursion at turn number 3. So at the moment, Ruben Verheyen ahead of Thomas Verheyen, who rounds out the top 13. And as things stand at the minute, Radenkovic is on course for taking that international trophy ticket. The thing is that Swiderski and Huben's already got his. Swiderski was hell-bent on getting one, but Radenkovic has done exactly what he's needed to do. He's kept ahead, he's stayed ahead, he's not placed outside of the top 2 all weekend long, and he's also secured both pole positions in the process. He's running in the 1 minute 7.4s. Mies Huben, 107.6s. Everyone else is about 3 or so seconds, nigh on 3 seconds off the pace. So straight away there is a tyre differential there that screams volumes. And the thing is that if anyone might remember Jenson Button's Canadian Grand Prix escapades, when he decided to chance it on slicks earlier than anyone else and managed to pass Sebastian Vettel on the final lap of the race, that was an inspired choice. But you can also see it here. That's one of the things with this middle ground reference karting. It's always a case of, if you gamble, does it pay off? And I've seen it pay off spectacularly well. I've also seen where it's been completely the wrong choice to make. And sometimes you might rue that decision. Max Swiderski, I think, might have just come a bit unstuck. And his weekend has really been dealt that sort of blow. And you can see that Tino Sidler is on wet weather tyres. I'm just looking for any sort of patterns I can see. Even keep up with him at the moment. Huben's just decided to settle for second. He's 7.2 seconds adrift is Mies Huben. Laurens Herboz. So effectively, Radenkovic has pretty much got this 99.5% secured in the bag. Huben, in the other mind, will not have to worry about it. And there we go. I've just had a look at the I've just had a look And that has confirmed everything we needed to know. Radenkovic on slicks, Huben on slicks. There is some activity going on in the pit lane because I'm going to be honest here, this looks probably pretty good for some slick shod racing. Lawrence Herbeau is running in the 1 minute 10s at the moment, and Radenkovic is just absolutely flying. So just having a look through back through the chicane where Huben came through, and yeah, I saw the rear tyres clear as day. Those are dry weather tyres, so I would imagine there's going to be a hive of activity for DD2 Masters, and then also the Senior Road Tax Finals coming up. Because if Radenkovic has decided to do it, well, he's done the right call. He's done the right call. An initial bit of handling characteristics would change over the course of the race itself, but the way he's running around this circuit now, that is just absolutely spot on, because it was an inspired choice. And now his lead was 8.1 seconds ahead of Mies Huben. Huben's yet to cross the line. At now 8.2 seconds. Radenkovic's fastest lap time is a 1 minute 0.6. Six nines. There is Radenkovic. He's just carrying on with the job at hand. He just needs to hit every apex. To keep on, he just needs to get to the end of this race, and then it is job done. That is it, all she wrote. So Tom Pappenberg has taken one of the tickets, and also one of the other things is that Radenkovic is on course to get his. We're into the last 3 3/4 minutes of this race, and Matej Radenkovic is looking strong, looking unfazed. This is his race to lose. And the thing is that Max Swiderski, no matter where he finishes, will not challenge Matej Radenkovic. As much as I would love to see a great battle between Max Swiderski and Matej Radenkovic, the problem is that Radenkovic doesn't need to worry. Radenkovic just needs to come across the checkered, take the flag, and then just celebrate like it's 1999. You know, he'll have done a fantastic job all weekend. You can just see how quickly that water residue that he just drove through going into that chicane, how quickly it evaporated. And now you can see there's no standing water going through into the apex of turn number 1 like we had a couple of hours ago. Turn 2, it's nearly dry as a bone there. A little bit of surface moisture on the outskirts heading into turn number 3. And then again, there's some water there through into turn 4. Radenkovic comes through it all, and no problems there whatsoever. And effectively, that means that Radenkovic and whoever helped him make that call, whether it was his dad, that was an inspired decision. As blue flags are being waved. There's Mies Huben, a solid weekend for the young Dutch driver. He's getting quicker. Mies Huben, first one to go into the 1 minute 5.9s as DD2 and DD2 Masters make their way onto the dummy grid, which has been opened for the final time. But it has been a pretty convincing run. Now, even if he finishes second, I'm sure that Matej Radenkovic would not mind that, but he wants to win on a high, very much in the same fashion that Tom Pappenberg did earlier on for Micromax in that side of things. And effectively, that has assured Radenkovic of a chance to compete at the Circuit à la Poste in around about just over 3 weeks' time. So the 27th of July will be the first date that he will be able to take to the track at Le Mans Karting International in Pays de la Loire in France. But Hubin, nevertheless, give credit where credit is due. That young man has done a sterling job. He hasn't been at the sharp end of the grid like he possibly might have hoped for. However, he still has done the business and has kept himself in contention for some good points this weekend for Mies Hubin. There is Matej Radenkovic just going through the shot, heading up towards turn 3, as we now head on to the penultimate lap of this race. On lap number 12 out of 13. It's now a case of just bringing the carts home. There is Mick van den Berg in the number 129, running in 9th place. Mats van Rooyen, his weekend has gone from bad to worse, unfortunately, in the final race. But we've hit 0 on the timer. That is it. As Mies Hubin looking to get past Mick van den Berg before he gets onto the final lap. And at the moment, Mies Hubin has been chasing down Matej Radenkovic and took over 7/10 in the previous lap. The lap before that, he took 1.3 seconds, and the lap before that, he took 3/10. So Mies Hubin has taken the best part of well over 2.5 seconds out of Matej Radenkovic, who goes on to the final lap, as it looks like Kaz Tobin was briefly showing. The blue disc does sometimes show up on the timing, where you think that the drivers ended up either stuck out on track or in the pits. But there is your race leader and soon-to-be weekend winner. Matej Radenkovic has definitely lifted off the accelerator, because he's just soaking all this in, this atmosphere. This is where he now starts to realise what he has achieved this weekend. Pole position on both days, a double victory yesterday, a second earlier on today, and he's on course for taking a third and well-deserved race victory, which will provisionally propel him to Le Mans. He's already started celebrating. He now knows that is it, the job is done. Radenkovic starts slowing, but enough to come across the line. Radenkovic wins and will be going to Le Mans in later on this month, in the month of July. So the 196 from Buvin Power gets the job done. 3 out of 4 victories and a second this weekend. Both pre-finals he secured pole position for, and he won by 4.35 seconds at the end of the race, ahead of Mies Hubin, who finishes in second. And Hubin also has the fastest lap of the race on a 1 minute 5.631. Mats van Rooyen unfortunately retired on lap number 10. But Radenkovic takes the victory. Mies Hubin takes second. Lawrence Herboz crosses the line to finish in P3. There is Radenkovic himself. Tay Stevens in 4th. Tino Sidler in 5th. Jake Minton rounding out the top 6 positions. Or will it be Lars Lambers? It will be Jake Minton very shortly, who crosses the line in the 1:31 entry. Kaz Tobin takes 8th ahead of Mick van den Berg. Ruben Verheyen, Max Swiderski's weekend ends with a sombre 11th place finish. Thomas Verheyen rounds out the 12 that finished, with Mats van Rooyen ending his race 4 laps from the end. But Matej Radenkovic provisionally heads to Le Mans later on this month. Well done to him.